Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Paradise Club by Tim Meyer, and this is from Grindhouse. What are they? Publications? Books? I don't know, but it's number 76. I love how they have little numbers on all their spines. Look at that wonderful, wonderful cover. I absolutely love it. But you might be asking, what the hell is this book about, Eric? Well, let me tell you. This is about a bunch of people, including Elliot Harper and his wife and his 17-year-old daughter and younger son. And they've all won a vacation to a place called Paradise Club. It's a beautiful, beautiful island. And they're going to be hunted down and murdered like dogs. And that's your nutshell. There you go. So, yeah, that's what's going on. We start off, we're meeting Elliot. He's an FBI profiler, and he's with his wife, his young son, his 17-year-old daughter, and they're on the ferry that's taking them to this island, and we learn that they won a contest. So they get a week's vacation on this island, and we meet a whole bunch of other people, different characters, some contest winners, some employees at the Paradise Club, and Elliot gets kind of a weird feeling. There's a weird vibe, but then he sees something which triggers the events. They start early. I don't think I'm giving too much away. I mean, it does tell you right on the back that there's a bunch of psychos on the island that are going to hunt down and kill everybody. And so the mayhem begins. As a matter of fact, it says right there on the bottom of the back of the book, let the mayhem begin. And this is, I like this book. It's very well written. The perspective jumps from character to character. Elliot is our main character, but we do get a lot of other perspectives. There's this young college-age kid named Brian. He's there with two friends. We get Elliot's daughter's perspective sometimes, his son's perspective sometimes, and then, as I said, there's some employees. We follow them, and it's all pretty early on. It's just them trying to survive, trying to find a way to not be murdered by these psycho killers that have been brought to this island to just murder thousands of people. The employees at the hotel at the Paradise Club didn't know what they were getting into. Obviously, the contest winners didn't know. So I've read some Tim Meyer before. This is one of his newest ones. And I like his writing style. I like his characters. Elliot Harper and his family members are all interesting. I like the dynamic. It feels very real, the family dynamic. The other characters that we meet, we get to know them pretty well. But I think my favorite thing here, besides all the crazy murder, which is fantastic. I mean, tons of violence, and it's creative. I was going to say relatively creative, but it's pretty creative. All the psychos seem to have a theme that they go with, and so we've got all sorts of very interesting weapons being used for these murders. But what I like is you have this thing in movies and TV shows where people don't convey information and it's completely unrealistic. Because of course whoever's telling the story, the director, the writer, whatever of the movie or TV show, wants, if it's a comedy, it's like a comedy of errors, or they're trying to build suspense. And so you have people not saying things or saying things in a vague way that's completely unrealistic. Now, I understand in movies and TV, you have heightened dialogue. You don't want your characters to speak completely realistically, because that would just bore the shit out of everybody, generally. But man, sometimes it's just so obvious when you're watching a movie or TV show that all someone has to do is say one little thing and it would fix everything, which of course you can't have, but it's so painful when there's no real reason for somebody not to say something. Okay, so that's the problem in a lot of stuff, and I think Tim Meyer is very good at avoiding that problem. So on the one hand, there is a character who knows what's going on, but when people ask her questions, and she says there's no time to explain, there really is no time to explain. There are psychotic killers coming after them, running down the halls, busting into rooms. When she says there's no time to explain, there's no time to explain. It's believable. She can't just stop what they're doing and tell people things. So that's good. And then we have the bad guys. Because there's more than just psychotic killers. There's other bad guys in here. I mean, they're all part of a big thing. It's not like there's two different groups of bad guys. It's all one big thing. But anyway, the bad guys talk about things realistically, I feel. In that the author is teasing us, but it's done in a realistic way. These two characters, let's say, are sitting together, having a conversation. They don't need to explain, like, character A doesn't need to explain to character B what something is, because they're both part of it. They both know what it is. So when they're talking, he'll just say, hey, in 2 hours, it's only 2 hours until such and such. And that's teasing us, the reader, because we don't know what such and such is. And he doesn't need to explain it to the other guy, because the other guy's part of the organization. He knows what it is. And so that's done well. We are being teased, and it's not in an unrealistic way. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you do, because this really impressed me. So I think it's important for me to talk about. My throat's getting a little dry. If you'll excuse me for just a moment. This episode brought to you by Mountain Dew. I wish. There we go. All right, so yeah, I really, really loved that Tim Meyer was able to do this. He's able to tease the reader in a realistic way. And of course, everything will be explained. There are twists and turns. You don't know who's going to live or die. It's one of those kinds of books. Doesn't matter if we're following somebody through the whole book. They might not make it, or through most of the book, or part of the book. Just because your name is at the top of a chapter doesn't mean you're going to live. And there's a reason that this is happening. It's not just some random crazy person wanting to release a bunch of psycho killers on a bunch of innocent people. And yeah, it gets wild. It gets crazy. It's very violent, which, I enjoy in my fiction. So what else can I say besides look at that beautiful cover, which I've already said, but it bears repeating. I absolutely love this cover. I don't want to give away the twists and turns. I don't want to give away all the little secrets, all the crazy things that happen. But it's an enjoyable read. I don't remember. I think I probably gave it 4 out of 5 on Goodreads, which is I really liked it, I believe is what they call their 4-star rating. Yeah, so if you just want, it's a good summer read if you're into this, if you're into, bloody psychotic horror. Really a nice summer read, not just because of that beautiful summery cover. I don't know, it just feels like, I guess because it takes place on a beautiful island, it feels like a summer read. So grab yourself a copy and enjoy it the way I did. At the time of this recording, and possibly the time this actually goes up on YouTube, Grindhouse is moving. So I may or may not have a link for you to get it at Grindhouse. As always, I'll have links in the description for where you can get the book. I would prefer having Grindhouse, the direct Grindhouse link to Amazon, but it might not be available at the time that I put this up. If you see it, that means it is, because I don't know exactly when this is going live. But anyway, I definitely recommend it. Good, fun stuff. Craziness. And I'll be reading more from Tim Meyer. I enjoyed the other stuff that I read of his. All right. I guess that's all I've got. It's a well-written book. Great characters. I love that the author can tease us in a realistic way instead of just horribly written dialogue that nobody would say, or people just completely avoiding saying things. That really, I think, was the most impressive part to me, I guess is the way to put it. My favorite part's the murders, of course. Come on. But anyway, that's it. So, do I have a question for this video? Yeah, let's go with this. Do you like psycho killer horror, where there's no supernatural element? Yeah, do you like psycho killer horror? And if so, what's your favorite psycho killer book or story? Whatever. Yeah, let's go with that. How do you feel about just straight psycho killer stuff? All right. Yeah, that's our question for this video. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. And if you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comics, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. And that's all I've got for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.